Imagine this. You're walking through the most expensive neighborhoods in the US, the kind where rent costs more than your entire paycheck. And right there, smack in the middle of all that wealth, people are living in tents, on sidewalks and parks. It's happening everywhere, from the West Coast to the East Coast. Would you believe me if I told you over 500,000 Americans are homeless right now? Today, we're diving into the top 10 US cities where homelessness is reaching crisis levels in 2024. Some of these cities might surprise you. And stick around to see which city has the wildest, most creative solution to combat it, and whether it's actually working. Let's break it down, starting with number 10. Austin, live music capital, tacos for days, and over 4,000 homeless people. I know, Austin's where people go to keep it weird, but things are getting a little too weird with all the tents popping up. Why? Blame that red-hot housing market. Austin's rent prices are climbing faster than the line outside of Franklin BBQ. Add in a lack of affordable housing, and suddenly, you've got people setting up camp under overpasses. The city's tried everything from banning public camping, spoiler, didn't work, to building tiny home communities, but the list for those tiny homes is longer than a Whole Foods receipt. Austin's trying, but can it keep up with the demand? Coming in at number 9, we've got the city that gave us Starbucks, Microsoft, and tent cities, Seattle. Right now, about 11,000 people are homeless in Seattle. The city's got so many tent cities, it's starting to feel like there's a new kind of neighborhood cropping up all over the place. The tech boom here has created a housing disaster. Unless you're making big tech money, good luck affording rent. And don't forget the opioid crisis. Seattle's been hit hard. But Seattle's not just sitting back. They've tried housing-first initiatives and even floated the idea of turning cruise ships into shelters. Seriously. But before you go thinking about your next vacation, let's be real. This problem isn't going away anytime soon. The Windy City, deep dish pizza, the Bulls, and around 5,000 people experiencing homelessness. Chicago comes in at number 8. But if we're talking about all forms of homelessness, including people couch surfing and staying with friends, the number could be way higher. One thing that makes Chicago stand out, the brutal winters. Ever seen those crazy videos of the city buried under snow? Now imagine being homeless in that. The city's trying to make moves, like converting old hotels into shelters. But with rents rising and wages staying flat, Chicago's got a tough road ahead. Sliding in at number 7, the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Over 5,700 people are experiencing homelessness here, and a lot of them aren't even visible. Philly's got a major hidden homeless problem. People bouncing from couch to couch, hoping they can find somewhere warm. Philly's been hit hard by the opioid epidemic, especially in Kensington, which is basically ground zero for the crisis. The city's trying to build more affordable housing, but between the opioid crisis and rising rents, it's an uphill battle. Let's just say, cheesesteaks aren't the only thing people are hungry for in Philly these days. You knew San Francisco had to make this list. Number 6 on our countdown, the city with tech billionaires and 8,000 homeless people living on its streets. San Francisco has one of the most expensive housing markets in the world. I mean, a closet in the city costs more than a house in most other places. San Francisco's homelessness problem is legendary. Tent encampments have taken over entire blocks. The city's trying to fight back with supportive housing and mental health services, but housing is so expensive, it's like trying to put out a wildfire with a squirt gun. And let's not forget the infamous poop patrol. Yep, San Francisco has an actual team dedicated to cleaning human waste off the streets. Welcome to the tech capital of the world. At number 5, we've got the city that never sleeps, mostly because people are too busy looking for a place to live. New York City has over 65,000 homeless people as of 2024. That's not just people you see on the subway. There are entire families staying in shelters, hotels, and makeshift housing. The rent? Outrageous. Finding a place in Manhattan that doesn't cost your firstborn child is nearly impossible. NYC has tried rent control, but that's barely making a dent. What's interesting is the city's experimenting with giving homeless people direct cash payments. Controversial? Sure, but it might just work. San Diego comes in at number 4. This sunny paradise is now home to 10,000 homeless people. The housing market? Hotter than a SoCal summer. Rents are soaring and wages just can't keep up, pushing more people into homelessness. What's unique about San Diego is that a lot of its homeless population is older. People who were working class their whole lives, but got hit with a job loss or a medical bill they couldn't pay. The city's trying to combat it by converting old military barracks into shelters and offering safe parking lots for people living in cars. But with prices continuing to rise, it feels like San Diego is racing against time. The nation's capital takes the number 3 spot with over 8,000 people experiencing homelessness. Washington, D.C. has one of the starkest contrasts of wealth and poverty. You've got people living in tent encampments just blocks from the White House. One huge issue in D.C. is the lack of affordable housing. Developers are tearing down older buildings and replacing them with luxury apartments. And guess what? That's displacing thousands of lower-income residents. Even with all the political power in the city, D.C. is struggling to solve this issue. Veterans make up a big part of D.C.'s homeless population, which makes the crisis even harder to stomach. At number 2, we head to the desert, Phoenix. With over 9,000 people experiencing homelessness in 2024, Phoenix's crisis is growing fast. The scorching heat only adds to the danger for those living on the streets. Phoenix's housing market is booming, but affordable housing is getting harder to find. The rise in housing costs, combined with economic instability, has pushed more and more people out of their homes. The city's been trying to catch up by building affordable housing, but it's like a race they're losing. The homeless population is growing faster than the city can build. Drum roll. And at number 1, Los Angeles, California. LA tops the list with the highest number of homeless people in the US in 2024, with over 46,000 people. LA's homelessness crisis is staggering. The issue here is deeper than just a lack of affordable housing. Mental health services are underfunded, addiction issues are rampant, and affordable housing projects are moving at a snail's pace. LA has tried building tiny homes, using old motels as temporary shelters, and even RV housing parks. But it feels like no matter what the city tries, the crisis continues to grow. Can LA find a way out, or are we going to see even more tents in the City of Stars? There you have it, the top 10 US cities where homelessness is reaching crisis levels in 2024. Some of these cities are throwing everything they've got at the problem, but is it enough? Only time will tell. What do you think? Is your city on the list? Have you seen solutions that are actually working? If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're wondering which cities people hate the most, I've got a video for that too. You won't believe some of the names on the list. Thanks for watching and see you next time.